O'Neill, 2 L's. I serve the SGC under a General Hammond.
We're explorers. You see, we're from another planet.
The unstable vortex of a forming wormhole. Kawoosh.
Indeed.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Kawoosh podcast, episode 14 in season 2. And while I was looking what it was, apparently there's some more discrepancies between IMDb and the order on our DVDs. But we're just gonna follow our DVDs. It's just gonna be easier.
Why?
I have no idea. Anyway, I am your host Arne, and I'm joined as always by my co-host Evie.
You should switch it up sometimes, just surprise people at this point.
With the new co-host? Or?
I don't know, just something.
And today we are talking about the episode Touchstone. Yes, Touchstone.
Which is, it's not a stone.
No, it's not.
And it doesn't really get touched. I don't know. Who came up with this episode?
I didn't check on that, but yeah. The episode starts with Sam briefing Hammond and the others about the planet Madrona. Actually, it's more about briefing the audience because they are talking about that the local people have the ability to call on the weather and to control it. And Sam thinks it might be the most important piece of technology they have ever come across. And it's probable that the race that terraformed that planet were the ones responsible for it, because even the Goa'uld do not possess such technology, according to Tilk. Jackson then shows us all a photo of a statue with a device in its hand, and this is apparently the Touchstone.
Again, it's not a stone.
Yeah, it's definitely not a stone. Sam wants to go back to the planet to run some scans on the device, and Hammond agrees.
Yeah, I was already, the first thing is me being annoyed with Daniel. Because Daniel goes obviously this was not designed by the Madronans themselves, because they are a primitive people. First of all, Daniel, that's rude. Second of all, 900 years have passed. It's also a possibility that they designed it, then they lost the knowledge and regressed somehow. There's options here, and I don't really like it when scientists go all obviously this.
Yeah.
No, it's a hypothesis. Is this just my Daniel,
No,
shining through?
Actually, because you're bringing it up now, the design of the Madronas is really, really weird. It's very heavily inspired by, I think, Hawaiian culture.
Yeah, but they don't look Hawaii.
But they're all white.
Yeah, not all of them. They have an Asian dude in the background, at least once.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, no, but it was very much designed to be this resort-like paradise, but you only see one room and one hallway, so it doesn't work.
So yeah, that was probably basically the idea. It's a paradise planet, so when we think about paradise, what do we think? We think Hawaii, and they put them in skirts made of leaves of trees, and that's the Madronas, everybody.
Yeah, and it just doesn't work at all.
No,
because later on they have blankets. Why would you even have blankets? Where are they coming from? It was...
Yeah, if it's always warm there, they shouldn't have blankets. So yeah, there's a lot to be... On that side, it needs a lot of work.
It's a sloppy episode right from the start, I feel. And it's a shame because the idea and the base idea at the base of it, wow, I know words. I know how words work. Is really good. But even just the way it was shot, because I got annoyed.
Noticed immediately.
I got really annoyed. They shot it and it was shot too close. All the shots were like this. Not like this, but like this. And because it was this close, you could constantly see the camera jolting whenever they moved their head to keep them in the frame. I'm why didn't you just...
Because it was not only a tight framing, it was also shot on a tele lens, which means that every minuscule movement the cameraman makes will translate in the camera going left to right.
And you could have just easily solved that by just moving yourself back a couple of meters. And it's not like you can't do it, because we're in a room where we've seen you've done it before. And I actually went down a rabbit hole. I looked up who the director was. I looked up who the writer was. I looked up who the DOP was and who the cameraman was. And all of them had worked on the show before and after. So I'm really confused. What was going on? Did somebody want to try something? Did a lens go missing?
Who knows? Yeah, that would
that might be it, though. No, but seriously.
Where's the 35? Oh, we'll shoot it all on an 85.
No, but that happens. That totally happens. Like, you open up the box and it's gone. And you can't just reschedule your day. Everybody's there. Mm-hmm. And you can't just grab a lens off the shelf because that shit is expensive. Maybe it's that.
And they just
went
had
for
the whole... And
yeah.
then, like, we'll do this whole episode like this.
I don't know, but something went wrong there.
Yeah,
and whoever...
or they just tried something and it failed.
Could be, but they were all professionals with already experience on the show, which made it unlikely to
But there was a lot... It's gonna come up later, but there was some other stuff that was like, why did they shoot it like this?
Yeah, but then you had a very good explanation for that.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that. I just went down a rabbit hole, okay? Look, we both went to film school, okay? This is gonna happen. Both of us are gonna be like, why did they make this choice? Because it's a bad choice.
Turns out we have no idea why.
Well, maybe somebody else knows.
Yeah.
Like the wiki didn't know. I scrolled.
Well, you went down a rabbit hole. I was trying to think of a most logical thing, but in the end we didn't. We don't know why it was shot this way. And anyway, let's get back to the episode where SG-1 goes through the gate and they arrive on the planet. And heavy storms are waging over the village, and people are even waiting for them, and they demand that they return the device. So, yeah, of course, SG-1 denies having done anything, and they are brought to the statue. And the touchstone is no longer there.
Like, it's gone. Come see it for yourself. I hate it when they do that. Like, maybe you just misplaced it. Like, what is this proving?
Yeah,
like, look, it's not there, which means it's gone. Like, what?
It was very forced.
But every time they go back to the planet, it's like, you stole it. No, we didn't. Bring it back.
Yeah.
We're trying. Like, what is this? Also, what they didn't communicate properly is the uncle, the leader of the tribe.
The village elder or something.
The village elder,
yeah.
he's blind.
I was wondering that, like, is he
I
blind
knew you
or
didn't
isn't
pick
he
it
blind?
up, because
it took me a while, but there was moments where there was like, yeah, he's acting like he's blind, but there were other moments where it looked like he was looking around.
No, he's definitely. I
think it was meant to be he's blind.
He is blind because he's constantly led around by his niece, and she's constantly like, "They're back, uncle. This is happening," and she's leading him along, and he has a staff and everything, but they never really make it clear enough.
Like
Because it's not clear enough, he kind of looks like a doofus because he goes like this, which is very normal to do when you're blind.
Yeah.
So, I just like, I don't know.
Now I'm actually wondering, was the actor blind, or was it just a choice to make him blind?
Well,
because
even
it's not
then,
really.
It could be a choice, like he's blind and he still knows how to work it because he's the one who works the touchstone
like,
in the end.
Working it. He slaps his hand on it and starts moving it around roughly, which is probably logical if you're blind, but...
No, well, I don't know. They have... No, I'm just...
Anyway, yeah.
Like, if you're gonna have representation, that's a good thing, but, like, make it just a little bit more clear.
I must say, it took me a while because I was also taking notes. But it did take me a while. Like, why is he acting this weird? Is he blind? And then the next scene was like, I'm not sure. Like, and it clicked in the end, but... And it's good that they did this. I think it could have been more interesting because there's going to be a whole thing about that they don't know for sure that it was them and blah, blah, blah. Maybe they could have done something with the fact that he's blind. I don't know, maybe. So they accuse SG-1 of stealing it because there were witnesses. It was people dressed as them, and they stole it in the dead of night, and they came through the Stargate, and none of the locals know how to use it. So that's basically their proof. Also, for some reason, because they trusted SG-1, there were no guards. Like, that's weird reasoning.
That is very weird.
Yeah.
That just sounds like guards never guarded it and just made up an excuse.
Like, because they literally say, usually there is guards, but because we trusted you, that night there were no guards. Like that does not make any sense at all.
That sounds like the guards were just filling in the timesheets. Like, yeah, we were totally here. And then, like, one day, like, oh, crap, we need a reason to come up with... Again, sloppy.
So, yeah. So Daniel tries to convince them that they can go back to Earth and find the ones who took it. And then the uncle or the elder decides to trust them on this. And he says that their entire future depends on their success.
Which could have been a really good point in the episode to start the literal clock, because time is ticking. Their planet is literally dying. But there is, throughout this entire episode, no sense of urgency.
No.
Every time they try to give urgency, because, like, we have to be there before this or that, no urgency, none. It feels like days go by in between. and there's just the pacing is off throughout
Yeah,
this
we
entire
check
thing.
in with them and we see it getting worse, but there's no. And also, like you said, like we only see this little part in front of the gate and then this house. And that's like basically all
Yeah.
we see. And they're trying to tell us that the whole planet is in danger, but why not show us a little bit more than one house and the gate? Like there's like maybe one shot that we see more, and even then we don't see a lot of the planet. Anyway,
But basically, at this point, I was intrigued because this means that they have spies that know where SG1, like where SG is going, and then they go in and they steal stuff. That's interesting. This is cool. And then I immediately thought, oh, and they're probably using the second gate because otherwise they'd be like, hi, Hammond, just don't mind us. We're just like, you know. So that's where my mind immediately went.
we have a lot of notes already, and we're just now cutting to the opening credits. So the Elder begs them to help, and we cut to opening credits. And then we are on Earth, and SG-1 arrives. Of course, Hammond wants to know why they're back so soon, and Jack fills him in. He joins him in his office, and he briefs Hammond that the Touchstone was stolen by people wearing SGC uniforms, and Hammond doesn't like that it implies that he sent another team after them. Jack wants to know if another team could have gone through the gate behind his back, but he says not without him knowing it. So Jack wants Sam to go through the computer to make sure, and Hammond eventually decides that she can check it because he's a little bit averse to it in the beginning.
I really like that moment because Jack like, can we check? And Hammond basically goes, nothing goes on here without me knowing about it, which kind of plants the seed of doubt in Jack, like, is Hammond going behind our back with this? But then Hammond changes his mind and is like, you know what, check. And I do think that rebuilds trust for Jack.
I'm summarizing really quickly here, but it is actually a really good scene between the two of them.
Because you see Jack going like, he's kind of overstepping, but he's
trying
doing
to do it tactfully too, because he is his superior officer.
And Hammond has every right to put his foot down on this, but he also knows that this is undermining his trust with Jack. So really well done. And he also mentions some people would want it. Is this now that Hammond says some people had a different direction in mind, that we would just take whatever we needed and bring it back?
I'm not sure if it's here. It might be later, but yeah, that's basically what.
Yeah, and I wrote down, the American way.
or just
colonialism. True. We can't always put everything. No, we're Europeans. We should own that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We shouldn't own that. That's the whole point. I'm sorry. Just move on.
Sam is checking the logs while Daniel and Tilk are watching the Weather Channel. Remember the Weather Channel? We didn't have it in Europe. It was a thing over there. But yeah, it basically comes down to that there's weird stuff going on Earth now. Tilk says something is definitely changing the planet's weather, and Jack is not sure if that thing is necessarily on Earth. But Sam says she thinks it is, and she mentions there's an energy spike the same time as another team used the gate, and it looks a lot like when the gate jumped to the Arctic gate. So yeah, they're pretty much on the track of the second gate as well.
Yeah. Basically, they're trying to dial the second gate whenever which means there is a very close by spy, which I felt they should have gone into it like a little bit more.
I think it's basically that because there's some higher people that know about this, they can just access all the logs and the scheduled teams. I think they're just looking at the schedule. They don't need a spy in the base. Oh, we have a log here that says they have this Touchstone device. It's interesting. When is the next team going? Oh, then let's do it. I think it's more that.
Okay, but even then, now I'm just gonna nitpick here. Just because you have a mission scheduled at 0800 hours doesn't mean you dial out exactly at 0800 hours.
That is true.
You need your team to be present, and it just felt like, again, this might just be convenient writing, but it feels to me like somebody has to be present to press the button at the right time. Otherwise,
I think you're thinking about it a lot more than the writer
probably
did.
thinking it through. But suppose, Second Stargate sends their team back, and the other team is delayed in getting back. Then you end up in the wrong Stargate, right? And then you're like, oh, hi, don't mind us. It just feels like you need somebody there. And I would have loved to be just a little bit more suspicious of who around here can we trust, instead of always going like, who up? Like,
That's why I'm saying
Yeah.
that you might be thinking about it a little bit more than the writer did, because it's a very logical leap to take. Like, there's a spy, but they never address this.
no, and it's always like the higher ups and somebody higher up, true, but you need somebody on the ground always, because,
Yeah, in a practical sense, you need somebody on the ground.
again, I am overthinking this, probably. Please continue.
Sam starts going through the logs looking for the energy signatures, and she ends up having to go to the third backup to find a match.
And I love how she goes like, now if somebody were to erase this, it would be very easy to miss the tertiary logs. And I'm
There
like,
is-
how?
yeah.
There's literally a prompt bar right in front of your nose that says, do you want to check the tertiary logs? How would they have missed it, Sam?
I saw that too. It was like, this is so stupid. Like, it's not hidden at all. It's
Like somebody could have easily missed this. There's a prompt. I'm not saying they couldn't have, even with the prompt, but like, okay. But
So yeah, they find that it is actually the second gate that's been used, and Daniel is confused because he thought the second gate was decommissioned.
He's confused a lot.
Yeah.
For, you know.
Then we cut to Jack going to Hammond's office, and he's on his red phone threatening the person on the other side, asking him, "Son, do you know which color this phone is?" I love that line.
I love it, but you can just know that there's an intern on the other side. Like, oh, sir, I can't, it's not my fault. Like,
Yeah. And then Jack tells him that the second gate is actually active. And then Hammond says, like, yeah, and it's going pretty high up because for some reason I can't get to the president, and that red phone is supposed to go directly to the office.
But I do like, he says somebody is maintaining the schedule of the president so that whenever I call him, he's not available. Who knows when you're going to call, Hammond? Like, that's, again, convenient. But, yeah.
Yeah, because if it is directly going to the office,
Yeah.
nobody else should be able to pick it up. So it's a bit convenient, but it tells us that there is some shenanigans going on.
Shenanigans are afoot.
Exactly.
Yes.
So yeah, Hammond has an idea, and I think this is where it comes up. What you said, there is a group
Yeah.
of people working against them, and he doesn't know exactly who it is, but he's got a gut feeling that something's wrong, and he's got to do some digging. So he knows that there were people who thought they should use it differently.
And again, I love that Hammond is able to use his connections and stuff, but every time Hammond in this episode says, I'm going to call in some markers, I'm going to do some digging. Okay, but that takes time. And they never give a sense of that time. It's always like, I did some digging, here it is. Like, no, there's time involved in this.
Yeah,
There's no
because-
sense of time in this
Because we
episode.
see him at one point talking to one of his contacts. He's in civilian clothes. He's on a... Is he in a beach or a harbor? Like he's somewhere completely
Is somewhere
different.
else, which means time, again, has
Again,
passed.
yeah.
In a scenario where we're supposed to be in a time crunch, but there is no time crunch.
So yeah, Sam connects with some satellites, and she found signatures and energy signatures that match in the Nevada desert. So Hammond perks up at this, and Jack knows that the gate ended up there. Hammond asks if he knows who just got reassigned there, and it is our good friend Colonel Mayborn. And we're talking about Nellis Air Base, or more known as Area 51. And they go like, oh, isn't that where we send all of the stuff we bring back? So yeah,
Yeah.
Area 51. But that's like most of, like they make one joke about the little green man, and that's about it. At this point, they do send a Malp back to Madrona, and there's a very big snowstorm going on, so it's getting really, really bad. And I wrote down they need to act fast.
And then they don't.
And then they don't.
Then
But
they
yeah,
don't, yeah.
basically, because SG1 already has clearance, because they work on the program, they are the best people to send to Area 51. So Hammond says, like, I have some very sensitive documents that need to be hand-delivered to the base. And Jack wants to know if they are sensitive enough for a 3 people and 1 Jaffa escort.
Which is lovely, because Jack basically says, don't announce our coming. And then Hammond's like, I agree, let's do it this way. And then they arrive, and then they still announce they're coming somehow. Because they're like, you just wait here until we call, like, and, like... Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, but they do... It's logical that they do recognize him immediately,
True,
because it's
true.
probably their team that brings back the most stuff for them. So
I know.
like, yeah.
And now I wrote down, why is this so dark?
Yeah, we cut to a military base, and I'm guessing that it's either
Well, say what
A
happens
real-
first, because
yeah, and they're greeted by a Major Reynolds who tells them they're kind of legends around there, and Colonel Mayborn is inside. He's paged, so he knows that they are coming.
and the shot basically on Colonel.
Major Reynolds?
He's not even my. I suffered for nothing.
Exactly.
Major
Yeah.
Reynolds. He's lighted properly.
He's lit properly,
He's
yeah.
lit properly. And then you cut to the other three, and they are silhouettes.
Yeah.
Just silhouettes. And there is no detail in there. And I was like, why is this so dark? Because the sun was right behind them. They were standing under like...
They're standing, under the building or something where you pass through with a car, and there is an opening behind them, and you can clearly see the sun coming through there. And
I got that the door's right there, but like it's close enough that you can trick shot it. Like it
Yeah.
felt like they shot it on scene and they thought they had it, and then they tried to fix it in post and they couldn't, because if you you can't get details out of something that didn't take.
for some reason, it was lit for the background. The iris was set for the background because the building in the background was the level was good. So
So
it could have been somebody made a mistake there too, because you could open your iris up so your characters are good, but that means you're blowing out the background. But
And
that's not important at this point.
But the thing is, like, right now, when you make a film, you have, like, whenever people think of movies, you have this huge village of monitors, like this big, with the director right in front of it. But when you used to go on location, you didn't always have that. Sometimes all you had was this tiny little screen.
And this was also shot on film.
And this was
Remember
shot on
that.
film, which
Yeah, it's on 60
means...
millimeters. So
Yeah.
there's, like, if there is already a video tap, that's luxury.
Yeah, especially on location.
Yeah.
So the odds are that only the camera operator and like the director maybe had this tiny little thing, and then it's
yeah,
easy
and
to
the-
overlook things.
Yeah, because on those old school cameras, yes, old school cameras, when you look through the eyepiece on a film camera, you are actually seeing directly through the lens. There is a mirroring system that makes that your eye sees through the lens. You're not seeing a screen, you're seeing through the lens, and your eye can compensate for things. So
Very
it's quite
true.
possible that the camera operator saw a lot more detail with his eye than the film stock was registering.
Yeah, because cameras can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was a real military base or just a location that they had, but I'm thinking that they didn't have it for a long time and they had to rush it, and that's why they made mistakes like this.
Yeah. And you can't just fix this. Sometimes you just have to run with what you have.
If it's lit on the background and your characters are like, they were silhouettes, they were black. There's no detail there.
And what I just wondered is, why didn't they just cut it out? You don't really need that scene. You can just go right inside.
There's some information that Reynolds gives them about that they're legends and they know about their missions. It's not that important.
Yeah. Maybe they just didn't have enough. You can't just cut down. Like,
No,
you
you
have
have to have
blocks.
40 minutes and that's it. So
Are we being too technical about this?
maybe.
Maybe.
Anyway, so he says that without SG-1, they would be out of business there because, yeah, of course, they're sending back all of this stuff. They get a quick tour around the base where they are working on stuff that SG-1 brought back. And then deep in the base, they open two doors and there is a death glider there being worked on.
Do you understand what happened there? Because I was very confused. Like, at this point, none of what this guy is saying should be news to them, yet they look very disturbed. Like, over there, they're going over your notes from that mission. Over there, they're looking over that possible Alzheimer cure. And over there are the death gliders you brought back. They know the gliders are there. Why are they looking? And the music goes
Especially-
all ominous, too.
Especially
Like,
Teal'c was actually shocked. I wrote down Teal'c looks shocked.
and Jack looks very disturbed. And even Sam, like, but they're there. That's part of
Yes.
their actual job. So why is this so weird to you?
And it was you who flew them back to Earth, so...
So what did you think was... I'm very confused at that point. They made a note to show, but that's because that's not a sheep shop.
No, it also reminded me a lot of Independence Day.
Yeah, that too. Maybe
Because
somebody
it's
just...
basically the same plot beat. Like, it's Area 51 and there's an alien glider in
But
there.
back then they didn't like in in Independence Day. It was a surprise that the glider was there.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody should be. I just felt it was such a weird beat to make, and even the music went all ominous. Like, what? Why?
The only
Again.
thing I can guess is that they were surprised. They were trying to get it to work or something, but they shouldn't be that surprised. Because it's basically what the Area 51 is supposed
Yeah,
to do, is
I just-
investigate all. And then they take them to the bioengineering lab, and then Jack wants to know if this is where they keep the little green men. But Brendel says there are no aliens in Area 51, and Jack says,
And then
present,
Teal pulls a face like, excuse me,
present company excluded, of course.
which was nice. And then Mayborn shows up, and the very
Yes.
first thing out of his mouth is Teal'c. It's nice to see you doing well. And I wrote down, "Oh fuck off, Mayborn," because honest,
But his reaction is gold.
Teal'c is awesome.
He goes up to him and he says, "It would, in my culture, it would be well within my rights to dismember you."
Which
And the
is-
fear in his eyes is just gold.
I just love how Teal'c just steps up calmly and just delivers it like just
Deadpan.
deadpan. And then Mayborn, like, he can't do that. Can he do that? Like, and he's just like, oh. And then Teal goes to stand behind Mayborn too. He's like always hovering over his shoulder while he talks to Jack,
Yeah,
which
they're,
is
they're making him very uncomfortable in this episode.
Yeah.
Like, most of the time. Like, he's trying to maintain control, but they're
Yeah.
not having it,
and
which
then,
is it's fun.
And at
It's
the
a
end, he
fun-
turns and tries to walk away, but Teal'c's like right there and smiles and like, ugh. Like it works really well.
So yeah, Jack tells them that they believe that Touchstone was brought there. Mayborn denies everything. They dance around the subject, and then they try the direct approach. And Mayborn says the second gate is under complete lockdown, but they say they want to take a look anyway. So
I'm just confused. Like, when they left, it sounded like they were going to be very smart about this. And basically, they go like, all right, Mayborn, did you take it? No. Are you sure? Well, I'm out of ideas. Like, there is no plotting or scheming going on
No,
here.
no.
Anyway, they go to the gate.
well, yeah, they bring them to a huge hangar, and there's a big wooden crate on the ground. And when they open it, there's a Stargate inside. So Mayborn asks if they're satisfied. Jack's not really happy because he hoped that it wouldn't be there. And then Sam knocks on the gate, and she goes like, "Jack, this gate's plastic."
I don't think she says Jack.
No, probably O'Neill or Colonel or something. So yeah, it's plastic. Mayborn maintains that this is the gate under lock and key since it arrived from the Arctic.
And this scene confused me because
Yes. At first I thought he was surprised too, and then 4 sentences later he's like, he knew it all along.
It was very weird. It felt like
I went back and changed my notes because I got confused.
no, but the first reaction out of him is like, what? And he's legitimately confused because
Yeah.
Mayborn is not a good actor.
Okay,
like, the
so-
actor is a good actor, but Mayborn, the character, is not
Yeah.
a good actor.
Okay,
so we
so I
immediately
wasn't-
thought, like, oh, he didn't know the gate was switched. But then he immediately, like 4 sentences, like you say, he changes his story. And I'm like, are you trying to act like you know more than you do? Or that are you just accepting that there's stuff you're not supposed to know and you're trying to warn Jack away? This is very confusing. Because
Yeah.
at first it's like, no, but this is the gate we got. Okay, so you mean to say the gate was missing from the start. That's disturbing. But yeah, it was very weird.
It was confusing, but I think, so basically that's probably what happened, is that the Arctic gate went somewhere else and they brought another gate here. At least that's what I think it came down
Yeah,
to.
and then Mayborn
it was
confused me.
moved by a higher authority, not military, and he's not gonna say more, and then has them escorted out, and he warns them to let it go.
Which is just, it's I wrote down here at this point that I do like the story idea, but it feels just so clumsy and oddly paced. And like at this point, it's like you're not getting any more new information until the next scene again.
Yeah, and nobody is really acting smart, like you said.
Yeah.
So they go back to the SGC,
And-
then Hammond tells them that everything is under lockdown and nobody's saying anything. So he's trying to call around, and he's being stonewalled, or how do you say it?
I think so.
And then Sam says there's still a way to find where the other gate is. If they travel to Madrona and they quickly return and overload the gate, and I thought they meant in the SGC, but apparently it's the gate on the source side, then they will jump to the other gate.
Which is, again, a smart idea, and then it is very poorly executed.
Yeah.
Because, first of all, they go to the planet, and of course the people come out and are like, "Are you dry? Or like,
Yeah,
did you find
have
this
it? Did you-
touchstone?"
Yeah.
And they have this really stupid, like, you already had this discussion. You don't have to tell it again. Like, also, none of these people, like, oh, it's a blizzard out there. They're not even wearing gloves. They're like fingerless gloves. Like, you should have frostbite by the time you get back, Daniel. Like, no. And
Well, if the people in the leaf skirts can survive it.
they should not have been coming out. I mean,
Yeah. I do like that Hammond sees the irony in sending a team across the galaxy to find something lost in their own backyard.
Absolutely.
That was a good line.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do like Sam's idea, but then they send the malp through, and it works. The malp lands there. And what do? Oh no, the lights are out. And they just freeze for like 3 seconds, like we didn't think that there might not be any lights, that we might not get any visual clues. Like, what if you just ended up in a hangar with all the lights on? You still would not have known where
Can
you
I
were.
be nitpicky?
Yeah.
So they send the malp through. Mm-hmm. If we get there later in the episode, that gate's lying down, right?
I thought they packed it after because they panicked.
Maybe they packed it after.
I thought they packed it after.
It must have been, because otherwise this makes no sense.
But the last time you saw the gate, it was also packed, and that's why your mind didn't think that the gate was upright.
Yeah, but it does look like something you just pack in 5 minutes.
Well,
Again, we're coming down to the time issue.
But like Sam goes like, oh no, the lights are out. Like, even if the lights weren't out, like, what was your... No, I'm gonna triangulate. You should have been doing that already. Like, why is there no GPS in this thing?
Yeah, but I don't think they had GPS back then. Now, if we look at it, this is like really weird.
When I learned how to drive, I had a GPS.
So I looked up for the GPS when it came out, and
not a movie.
first launch was in '78. So it was already operational by the U.S. military, and let's see when it came in broad use, 93. So yeah, series came out in 97, which means that it was available.
Yeah,
Maybe
which
not
means,
broadly available, but it was there.
It was gonna be available for the military. And
it was developed by the military.
Yeah.
So actually they should have been able to
I
quickly spot where the map was.
But I do feel that this was yet another beat of, not just yet, folks. Hold it. We need Hammond on a bench acting suspicious. He needs to call in a favor. So we're only going to triangulate it to one area, like South Utah.
Yeah.
And then we need another clue. It just feels so convoluted.
I think you're right on the
Yeah.
money. And that scene with the guy could have been anywhere in the episode.
Yeah. There is, again, no urgency.
Because the cloak and dagger stuff could be interesting, but not at the point where you're trying to build tension, because
No.
you're just breaking it again.
Yeah.
Go to the planet. Jack and Daniel go there. The people, of course, want to know what's happening because the world is freezing over, and they don't believe they're helping. Jack and Daniel connect the power generator and dial Earth. And at the SGC, there's a tremble, but no activation. So Sam sees it's on Earth and tries to find it. Camera's dark, no movement, but before they can do anything, a gun appears and the malp is shot. And then a moment later, they use all connection. Sam didn't get the triangulation done, which is why we went on this whole thing about the GPS, but it is somewhere in southern Utah. And then Hammond says he has one more favor he can call in to get to know more. Then we join Hammond in a park on a bench or somewhere we don't really know. It's all very cloak and dagger, and it's a guy named Whitlow. He doesn't know anything. He's surprised the second gate's gone missing. He says if it's civilian, he doesn't know about it because he's also in the military. Hammond wants to know anything about southern Utah, and as a matter of fact, says the guy, there's a C-5 airplane commissioned to pick something up, and that's a big airplane. So he gives Hammond the location, and he wants to know if they're even.
Again.
So this could have been very interesting, but it wasn't. It was actually a bit confusing.
It was also very confusing because he's like, no, I don't know anything. If it's military, I'm gonna know about it. The second Stargate is missing. What? I didn't know about it. You just said that everything military you know about.
Yeah,
and this happened.
And if it's civilian and he doesn't know about civilian things, why did you go to him? Because you already knew it was a civilian thing.
Yeah.
Because that's what we found out in the other thing.
Yeah, and it just makes no sense. Because to me, the second Stargate going missing, it feels like
It
3
would be
days
it.
ago at this point, because the timing is all over the place. So this guy should have known about the Stargate going missing.
Yeah, but it's gone. If we believe Mayborn, it's been missing for
Yeah, but the knowledge
years.
of it being missing and
Yeah,
reported
yeah,
is...
exactly.
Anyway, this is just... Yeah.
Hammond briefs the team and he says that the airstrip is not their jurisdiction, but the airplane is US Air Force, so it is. And he reminds them, and I'm gonna say this very slowly, not to fire under any circumstances. Put a pin in that one, because they're gonna shoot.
It's like, what if they shoot at us first? Like, not even then. And like,
Yeah. So it is very clear that they are not allowed to shoot because they don't want dead Americans on their conscience or something like that.
also,
On his watch.
What I was very confused about it was, first we get a very nice shot of a C5B...
C5.
C5
Yeah.
landing. It's stock footage, but it's a very massive ship, and I do like that they get to use stock footage for that.
And you could hear it approaching as they're going around.
Oh my god,
the
did you
base.
see Sam going like, I hear it, it's landing? Like, everybody can hear it, Sam, but that's not on the actor, because, like, she's not the one doing the sound mix, but it was very, very obvious. Also, why are they sending 4 people? Four people.
Because it's SG-1.
Yes, but did you
It's the
see
name
how
of the
Daniel
show.
was sneaking? Like, how is he not dead yet? No, that's a trick question. He died a lot of times already. But
And he's actually not military.
why is he there?
So yeah.
It's just... I thought also Teal'c wasn't allowed to operate on Earth.
And they have tons of other teams they could have sent as backup.
It's...
But this whole thing, so they find this old airfield. They go into the hangar. It's huge.
Hang on. They go into the hangar all through the same door
Yeah.
in open.
Yes.
They don't
It's-
do a pincer movement or anything.
It's wide
Ju-
open. There's a big crate in the middle, and 3 guys are standing there, and there's a truck. There's nothing to hide behind, so they just walk up to the
In a
guys
single line.
really silently.
They don't like go around the building to check it out first. They have no idea if there's only 3 people there. They don't just go like 2 there, 2 there.
but
No,
that's- that becomes a major thing because they get the jump on those 3 guys and they get them to move away from the gate. But of course, there's a 4th guy in the truck because the DHD is in the truck. So you hear the chevrons. This is actually pretty cool. You hear the chevrons in the case going, and then it blows out the top of the crate,
which was very cool.
which is very cool. And the guys, of course, they make a run for it.
Yeah,
and
try
they
to-
start shooting. I
thought,
think I remember Hammond saying to them that we're not allowed to shoot
to be fair,
anyone.
Jack doesn't really start shooting until they try to go for the little box that probably has the touchstone in it.
Yeah, but that was actually... Yeah, okay, yeah, and he shoots and the guy can't reach it and then he jumps in the gate anyway.
Which was very cool. They like, wee, jump like that into the gate. Very cool. And I do like the fact that one of them dials the gate and that's their way out. I have backup
So
questions
those
later.
guys were smarter than SG-1.
Yeah, and I have questions, but that is pretty cool. And they get away. They try to get the touchstone away. Doesn't work. They all jump into the gate and they're gone.
I think it's a bit weird, and I know it's because the episode is called Touchstone, literally, so that's the MacGuffin of the episode. But there's like almost no other stuff. There's the Stargate, and there's one case, and there's the DHD, and that's about all they're taking. So, okay, I know this is the one thing, but they must have stolen other things, right?
There's only
Because
4.
there's more.
There's only...
Sam found more matches, so they've been doing this for a while.
I know, but maybe they moved them
So, yeah,
separately. I don't know.
Anyway, so they escape, and of course Daniel is too late to read the full gate address.
No, I call bullshit because Daniel runs into the truck and the lights go out because like you're done dialing, the gate's gone, and he's like, oh, I missed the address. And from where I was sitting, and I was further away than Daniel, I could see at least 3 symbols that had lit up. So that's a partial address. You can do a lot with a partial address. Like 3 numbers out of 7,
Yeah.
one of which is point of origin, so that's 4. Sorry.
Point of origin you should know because that's Earth.
Right!
So that's 4.
Yeah, and it's not
Unless
never
it's
on.
one of them.
No, it's not on the bottom. That's always somewhere on top. Anyway,
Could be, yeah.
you could have written down what you knew, Daniel. Like, this feels, again, sloppy storytelling.
So they travel back to Madrona, hand over the touchstone to the elder, who blindly turns some rings. And that's where it clicked for me, because how he was acting.
That's why
like,
you figured out he was blind.
I was taking notes
Why
as
did
well.
you think the girl was like, they've returned, Uncle?
I was just trying to ignore that girl. She was annoying.
Not her fault. She
No,
probably
it
had
wasn't-
like
it was really
she
badly
probably
written.
had like this is your name, this is your outfit,
And you're pretty, so
and you're
stand
pretty.
over
Do I
there.
have a name? Nah, you don't need a name.
Yeah. No, I thought she really got the short stuff.
yeah, short end of the
yeah.
stick. Is that what they say?
So yeah, I hope she got paid well for this, because yeah. Anyway, the thing starts glowing, which is not a practical effect. It was done in post, and then the weather softens, and then they go back inside and they place the statue, and they do this because then they all turn around and they open only the doors, and then we have a shot from inside looking out, and the weather is better again.
And none of the plants or animals died. Everything is immediately back the way it was.
Yes, it is a paradise
It
again.
is a paradise again. Like,
Well,
nothing died. Like, if I forget to wrap some shrubbery in the backyard for one freezing night, like, they're gonna be dead. But, you know, also, at this point I wrote down, girl, you don't always have to walk your disabled uncle into the snowstorm whenever people come calling. Like, you can maybe leave him inside for once. Like...
Yeah, he looks old and fragile, and she keeps
She keeps hauling
dragging
him around.
yeah.
Like, look over here, uncle. Like, please, just let
He
the man
can't.
sit.
He can't. Literally can't.
Also, I kind of like the man at one point is like, see for yourself. I felt like he wouldn't say, I don't know. Or there was a joke there. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it again.
We cut back to the briefing room in the SGC, where Hammond tells them that an investigation is the investigation is taken out of his hands, and they don't know who these people were, so the guys that escaped, and they will have to keep an eye out for other NAD agents, presumably off-world or something.
Okay, but does this imply that there is either a base already out there where they went and they can just sit pretty, or are there now 4 people roughing it out somewhere because they can't come home, because if they do come home they will be arrested on sight?
I'm unsure, but I believe they might have a base off-world.
Does that come back?
I think it might.
Okay.
The NID definitely comes back.
Well, yeah.
We're gonna see them
Yeah.
a lot,
Well,
and those were
definitely.
always the worst episodes in my opinion. So let's hope that with a more adult mind, I maybe like them more. We're just gonna finish the episode off really quickly. So the second gate gets an iris welded on top of it, and it will be placed under lock and key under SGC command. So it will be under Hammond, and they go and witness it. Jack wants to know if Mayborn is now out of a job, but he tells Jack, well, so Mayborn is also there. He tells Jack, you'd be surprised, every day is a new day. So
And
yeah,
I have come to enjoy Mayborn in, like, he's a good villain to watch.
Yeah,
He's a very
definitely.
nice villain to watch, and I've come to appreciate the character a lot more, like, on the rewatch.
but even he can't really save the clunky
No,
way this episode
But
is written.
it's just none of their fault. Like, but this was so... I looked up a lot of people for this one, but the director is basically someone who directed, like, the Tok'ra and Thor's Hammer, which are really solid episodes.
Yeah.
And then he was Brad Turner. And then the DOP was Peter F. Wooste, German. And he did so much stuff.
He was
like,
basically the DOP
Yeah.
of the series.
yeah.
He
So you
did
just
everything.
know, which means that was definitely a mishap somewhere, like with the dark shot. And it happens. And it's film. It sucks. You can't work around it, and sometimes it just happens. And then the writer is the only one who only did 2 episodes for the entire thing. This one, and then one in season 6.
Right, I looked that up as well, yeah.
So, but other than that, like, but the writing does a lot for...
I think we can say that the idea of this episode and
Yeah.
the NID as an organization is really interesting because it makes sense in this universe that they want something like a secret organization stealing these things because the SGC won't do it. So yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I get it, but like it's just the pacing is for me is off. It's always like, oh, not yet. You need to find another puzzle piece. Haha, not yet.
But the
hate
mystery,
it.
the mystery
Yeah.
is not really that
No.
compelling in this episode.
No.
Because also we actually kind of know what it's gonna be, so they should have gone about it differently.
And also, there's no sense of urgency. Just returning to the planet once in a while to see that it's gotten worse, that does not create a sense of urgency. That's not, yeah, no. Not a big fan of this one.
No, same. I think the next one on the DVD is A Matter of Time, and then we're going to end up with The Fifth Race. They're swapped on IMDb, so I'm not sure why. So I think next week it's going to be A Matter of Time. Wormhole episode, so could be interesting.
I think IMDb is the order in which they were released.
They should be in the order they aired because
Yeah.
Fifth Race aired in the US on January 22nd, 1999, and Matter of Time was January 29, my birthday, 1999.
And maybe the DVD is the order of production.
Could be, could very well be, but it does not really matter. From week to week, most of the time they don't really connect.
No, we haven't yet spotted anything that made us
Most
go,
of the time,
wait
if
a
they
minute.
reconnect stuff, it's further back, so
Yeah.
it's not week to week. Yeah.
So, and yeah, sorry that we went on a little technical tangents, but sometimes it's just interesting to see like what can go wrong sometimes in these shows.
Or just choices that don't work out, like framing it that close with tele
I
lenses.
really do feel like maybe it just feels like a lens was just not there. It could have been so many things. Like lenses, it's very rare, but people do drop them sometimes. And you can't just get a replacement in. It might just have been that. And then you work with
or
what
it
you
might
have.
have been, like, it's TV, they're under a time crunch. They could have just said, like, let's do everything in singles and one master, and let's not put time in blocking.
But time crunch could be another one that they split up the teams. But
Yeah.
you don't have an infinite amount of lenses either.
Exactly.
Like maybe one team was filming that and one team was filming. Like we may never know, but it's interesting to speculate about.
But yeah, the gist of it is we didn't really like this episode. The idea was good, but the execution was lacking in a lot of departments.
And the thing is, if the story isn't compelling, my mind more easily jumps to like technical
yeah.
nitpicking.
And it is mainly, I think, the writing is the big issue here.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like the thing that with the lenses and stuff.
That's
Yeah,
just
okay,
something
that's-
we like to nitpick
yeah.
because we know.
But if the story is
Yeah.
good, then it doesn't really matter. But here,
Yeah.
it's compounding, like all the little things that bug us are we're
Yeah.
compounding a little bit. So yeah, let's hope next week will be a better one, and we'll see you all there. You can follow our socials; they're all in every description. Doesn't matter where you follow this podcast, it will be there, and you will see us next